again, everybody, and a very warm welcome back to the channel. If you joined us yesterday, then I hope you enjoyed the live stream yesterday. We are now at Chicago Midway in the States, and we're checking out the brand new Drzewiecki Design scenery for Microsoft Flight Simulator. We've got it on live time, and off in the distance there, we've got the Chicago Landmarks pack, which is also part of the Drzewiecki Designs scenery, which is absolutely stunning at night time. I mean, look at that. We're on live time at the moment, so it's about 7 AM in Chicago, Eastern time. Mark, well, David Bartley, good afternoon to you. Mark's asking a question. I asked about the livery yesterday, which I downloaded, extracted to my community folder, and the livery doesn't show up. Does the folder need a specific name and zipped and called sim object? So you need the folder that's before the one that says sim objects. So it needs to be contained by a folder named after the livery, effectively. If you want the products shown today, Drzewiecki Designs Chicago Midway, it's just been released for Microsoft Flight Simulator. It's available on Orbx, as is the Chicago Landmarks pack off in the distance over there. Then do check the description of today's live stream, and all the links you'll find are contained in there. David A, hello to you. Good morning over in the States. Now, as you can see, it's quite snowy here at the moment, and the ground is actually covered in snow at Chicago Midway, so it's going to make for an interesting departure, but also potentially an interesting arrival into Aspen, infamously difficult landing, and weather permitting, we're hoping to do the Roaring Fork visual approach as well into Aspen too, just to keep things difficult for us, weather permitting, of course. So Drzewiecki Design's one of the best scenery developers in the flight simulation game at the moment, and they leave pretty much no stone unturned. So they like to create and improve the environment around the airport itself as well. If you've missed the Chicago Landmarks pack in the distance there, do let me know, because I'll turn around and go back again. But here we are, covered in snow. It is currently snowing as well at the moment, as we can see. And off in the distance, in fact, some of the wider car parks and the trees, in fact, are also covered in snow. I mean, look at that cityscape over there. That's remarkable, isn't it? That's so cool. Good old frames are dying slightly. But I think it's because I've got so much scenery involved at the moment here. I've got the Chicago pack and this as well. Chris Patton, good morning to you. As always, some remarkable scenery design here by Drzewiecki Designs. You guys can see patches of it here. Yeah, Mark, so say for example it's a, I don't know, Southwest, because I can see some Southwest liveries. If it's a Southwest livery that you're installing, as a bit of an example, then it needs to say, I don't know, for example, A320 Southwest, and then when you double click into that needs to go into the community folder. When you double click, then it also will contain sim objects, and here we are with an interior. Alberto, good morning to you over in Chile. Hello, hope you're well. Wow, they've even got the InMotion stores and all that sort of stuff. Mayhem, hello to you. Tace, good afternoon. There's a model aircraft over here as well. DC Mole, what's up? How are you? Oh wow, now look at that. Not only that, but I've just noticed this. That is so nice. Look how incredible that is. He says as his sim is frozen. Wow. Yeah, the LODs are stunning with all of the Drzewiecki Design scenery, to be fair. It's, they leave no stone unturned. I mean, you can go up to the board here, look, and you can actually read the screen. Most of these are all sort of blurred off by a lot of developers, but you can actually see all of the boards at the moment. And then you go to the glass, and this is one of the things I love about Drzewiecki scenery. Look how immersive that looks. You zoom in, you'd be mistaken. If you had a really good quality sort of 4K setup, you'd be mistaken for that being a real image potentially. So yeah, as always, remarkable work. Southwest hub, I'm led to believe, or I'm informed I should say, not being familiar with Chicago Midway myself. The travelators are animated as well, look at that. These miles just put wheels down Larnaca. Nice stuff. Oops. Oh, there's some underneath, maybe not. Let's go through the roof. Here we are. Now this is the airport, a bit wider out, so there's the tower and some of the runways. You can see the snow is covered around the airport. The apron itself has got this really nice sort of splatter of snow on the tarmac as well, but it, it appears as if it's been treated, which is really cool. Ashley, hello. So that's really nice to see actually. There's thick snow on the areas you'd expect not to be treated, and then there's lesser sort of snow texturing. The runways are also absolutely clear, which is good to see. Off in the distance over there, there's even more sort of car parks and some hangering as well. In fact, by the looks of it, the Southwest, there we go, the Southwest Maintenance Facility as well off in the distance too. And over there too, look at that. Even a rotating beacon. Mark was going to joke, do the travelators work? Yes, apparently so, yeah. It's great, isn't it? David A loves flying out of Midway. I'm getting that scenery for sure. So when PMDG release the 737 to Microsoft Flight Simulator, hopefully in the not too distant future, there's the Atlantic Aviation Centre over there, look, as well. Then this is going to be the perfect hub for some Southwest ops. It's a huge Southwest airport, effectively. There we are. Look at that. Now we are where were we? We're stand Bravo 21. No, Bravo 12 for our stand today. So let's creep on over. Airliners Live. Hello to you. Good afternoon. I hope you're well. Thanks for joining us. And here we are. The CRJ900 Osprey regional livery. And we're going to make our way over to Aspen. No, I can't see any jet skis today, Philip. I'll keep my eye out. Tace, only £15 on Orbx. That's quite cool. Keith is just missing people in their pyjamas and neck cushions. Maybe even someone yelling at a gate agent. Very true. Is that aviation in the States? Okay, so into the warm. We can probably close the doors. Jocks are removed and all that sort of stuff as well.
Captain, the cabin is secure.
And we've got all the lights set up as we need as well. Yoep, hello to you. Time for some more admin law studies today. Nice stuff. Good to see you've got the stream on the other monitor though. So runway 31, runway 31 Charlie, and the Cicero 2 departure here at Midway. Yeah, it must be really difficult to depict snow, to be fair, in the sim, but I think they've done a really nice job here. It's one of the better ones, I have to say. Let's have a look at Navigraph then. So this is the Cicero 2 departure, and again, as usual with a lot of US big airports, you pretty much just take off, fly runway heading, and then instantly get vectored. So we're pretty much just going to make it up. Maintain 3,000 or assigned lower altitude, expect clearance requested altitude flight level 10 minutes after departure, and complete initially assigned term within 4 DME. That's fine, because where are we going to first on the routes? Vectors to Peku, which is here. So it's going to be a left turn around sort of 90 degrees down to Peku, and then from there we are heading away from the city of Chicago. Going past O'Hare, we're going south of O'Hare, and we're then heading pretty much just due west most of the way down this Juliet 60 airway and Juliet 80 airway into Aspen, Colorado, which is just here, Pitkin County, Saudi. We're potentially going to try this, and it all depends on what is going to happen when we get there and the METARs and all the rest of it. The Roaring Fork Visual Approach runway 15, which we've done before on the channel quite a while ago. In the CJ4, I think, actually, so quite a while ago since we last flew into Aspen. We're going to give it a go today in the CRJ900 to really sort of throw the gauntlet down, so to speak. Performance-wise, flight level 360 for our cruise, and 6,730 kilos of fuel, pretty much. 1228, EVX 165. So Osprey 165, our channel call sign. Bernie, the CRJ is my favourite by far. It's so detailed and so immersive. Takeoff trim 6.8, we must set that. So got the figure now. It's currently 7.5 there. Look, 6.8. There we go. That's an important step. And I've actually got all of the icing on at the moment, just because it's snowing. So I'm trying to keep the aircraft warm. Akko, hello to you. It's really nice scenery. Very, very nice. Flaps 8, snow, sets. So V1 at 141 knots today. What is the runway length, actually? Let's have a little look. Airport information, 31 Charlie, 1,988 meters long with a displaced threshold, though. So I'd probably round that down to 1,750 meters runway length. So we might use quite a bit of that today. So takeoff trim set, that's all done. Let's reset those. Heading for the runway is 318. So we want to set that in the heading mode here. And then we want to go down here. We've got stab 1 and 2 and Mac trim armed. I don't think yaw damper is armed. No, it's not. So yaw damper 1 and 2. And I think we're pretty much ready pre-takeoff wise. Now we could set an altitude to climb up to initially, but we're on Unicom. So I'm going to set 6,000. We'll just go with that, I think. Who was that? Can't hear them. They're still transmitting, apparently. That's on max. Right, so doors are closed, all that sort of stuff is done. I mean, every now and again I'm finding I'm getting this bit of lag kick in for some reason here at this scenery. What do we want? Beacon. I'm going to turn the cowl icing off at the moment. In fact, I might leave it on. Just remind me, guys, to turn it off prior to departure, because I need all the power I can get, basically. I think that is ready to go. Jeff, good morning. David A, what's a guess on the 737 release date? Ooh, I'm going to say end of February, maybe, if I had to throw a guess in there. Right, what's the METAR then at MDW? So in vpilot.METAR KMDW, 270 degrees at 7 knots, so we've got a bit of a crosswind to contend with. 10 statute miles of visibility, light snow, broken clouds 7,000, overcast 10,000, -8 degrees, dew point -16 degrees, wow, altimeter 3047. Quite a bit of high pressure as well, good grief. Very high pressure. 3047. Alberto, wow, been a member for 9 months. Thank you for all of your ongoing support. .3047, 3047. So that's given us an altitude already, barometric wise, of just shy of 700 feet. So if I look at the charts, airport elevation of 620. Which would indicate that 3047, and that would indicate 3040. So that's going to be interesting. I'll leave it on 3047 at the moment, but it's potentially going to be a problem when we commit to our approach at Aspen, to be honest. If that's a little bit wrong. Who knows? Right, V-speeds, let's push that. So we've got V1 141 there, armed. What else have we got? So we can go bearing. Just leave it FMS on. Yeah, just leave FMS2 on. That'll do. What else? Radar. Midway traffic, Osprey 165 CRJ900 at stand Bravo 12. Altimeter is 3047. Push and start on to Tango 1.
Cockpit to ground. This is ground. Stand by.
Beacons on. Continuous ignition. APU's on and avail as well. We're not using any external power, and the chocks are off as well. Hydraulics are on auto. Let's see. I'm going to put windshield heating onto high, I think, for the time being. And I might put probe heat on now, because I know what the icing is like in the sim. It can be quite wild at times, and I don't want to fall foul of having any problems. There's the outside. I mean, it's a remarkable bit of scenery. Quite a few statics around. Now the sun's starting to rise as well, so you're seeing it at different conditions now. Definitely some lag.
Brakes are set. You may lift.
There's an Osprey regional inside the southwest. Love it. Yeah, I hope end of February, fingers crossed. That would be cool. Bernie, so this is AIG again, but actually this isn't model matching, this is statics at the moment. So all of these aircraft that you see, all of these Southwest 73s are all part of the scenery. You can remove them inside Orbx if you wish.
Start and push. Parking brake set. Okay, cleared for push start. Please release parking brake.
That's park brake off.
Brakes are released. Commencing pushback. You can start the engines in sequence.
And we'll go engine right start. So trying to remember all the different little bits here with the CRJ. Every now and again, look, the sim is really stuttering here. Now the only thing I can think of is potentially it being the new NVIDIA driver. If it's not scenery, goddamn rudder pedals. I mean, look how laggy this is getting. Now most of the Drzewiecki Design scenery I don't have a problem with, so I'd like to think it's not that. Let's go back in here because that's going to be, now we go 24. Let's unlock engine 2 throttle and release it into the idle gate. Let's go forward a bit. You've had lag before the last update. Interesting. That's rather interesting as well.
Completed. Please set your parking brake. Parking brake set.
Here we go, Wesley.
Spare money incoming. Bing bam boom ba dum GEEL.
Okay, sir. Clear to disconnect. Pin has
Interesting.
been see you at the side. Have a good flight. Holding position, waiting for the visual. Thank you and goodbye.
Wesley, thank you very much for your super chat there. We've got a slight problem with engine 1 at the moment. Can't understand why. Auto, normal. Both. Right pack is on. Really bizarre. Oh, that's all on. That's test. That's fine. That's fine. They're fine. They're all good. They're all good. Michael, shouldn't be an issue with wing icing, to be honest. Cowl heating's off. Let's turn a load of it off and just see what happens then. Oh, weirdly it's just decided to start anyway. Maybe it was that. I'm trying to prevent ice build up on the sim as it is. There's a thing that's known at the moment with Microsoft Flight Simulator whereby it doesn't really believe in de-icing on the ground, so you have to try and prevent it as best as possible. Oh, there we go. You guys have solved the mystery. Unlock and idle.
Thanks for the great streams.
David A, thank you very much. Really generous tip there. Thank you for supporting the stream. It's super generous. Glad you're enjoying the streams. I'm going to leave those on. I'm going to put the probes back on and the wing icing back on. Now the sun is starting to rise as well here at Midway. Then off in the distance, Chicago landmarks pack. Look at that. And now we're starting to get a real good feel for how snowy this is all around us actually as well. Rather cool. Okay. Flaps 8 for departure. That's 1. And there's 8. 3047, 3047, and we can get rid of the reset fans off. Turn that on. We can turn the APU off now, I think. There we go. So it was the anti-ice. Good stuff. Interesting. But what's strange is we had engine right turned on, so I just assumed it would be okay. Right, where are we? So Midway traffic, Osprey 165 is taxiing to hold point for runway 31 Charlie via Tango 1, Tango and Echo 3. Midway traffic. What a skyline, Taze, yes. Awesome, isn't it? We need nose wheel lights. I'll put the centre one on as well, and the wing inspection light for icing, and the nose wheel lights, nose wheel steering arms. Here we go, in the snow. I think it's the first time we've departed with snow. Look at that, such great scenery here at Drzewiecki Chicago Midway. And there's another stutter. 3-1 centre doctor on board. They're the same thing. Let's not be too picky about pronunciation. Right, look at the emissives from the lights through this snow. Remarkable. And that snow's actually starting to come in quite thick now because we've lost sight of the city line off in the distance too. Look at that. the snow's bouncing past the lights and it's cutting out the brightness of it ever so slightly. I love this aeroplane. Actually, yes, I might stop using them to be honest, because I didn't really have too much of an issue with the original sounds in the CRJ to be honest. Airliners Live, loving the lighting. Reese, if you go into data settings, turn off the online services, select photogrammetry, it may help with performance. But to be fair, I'm getting sort of 30 frames anyway, so that's fine. And it appears smooth enough in the sim when it's not locking up. William, hello, this is just MSFS default live weather. TASE, it's Zulu. So every aircraft around the world flies to Zulu. So currently it is 13:26 for real. Zulu time, which is obviously the same as UK time. And every aircraft around the world will have a clock reading Zulu time. That. Now it's definitely a bit heavier. Here's Tango, so we're leaving the concourse now and we're going to go left. It's almost like we've ended up in a bit of a blizzard. Okay, that's really annoying. My biggest bugbear with Microsoft Flight Simulator at the moment is the rudder sensitivities. Every flight it seems to reset itself and forget how I've set my rudder pedals. I mean, look at that. Now that's only probably a millimetre left. So if I go here, control options. Every flight I've got to do this. And whenever I forget to give it the benefit of the doubt, it always trips me up. So it seems to need resetting itself. So I have to go in here, hit brakes, and then go left and right on the rudder. And then it realises that I've sent a reactivity of minus sort of 83 and 50. And then it will go, oh yes, thank you very much. Now look, now I've got my sluggish rudder pedals back again. Thanks, no worries, it was a great question actually, good spot. I think that's the first time we've ever been asked that on the channel as well, so if you're thinking it, there are probably plenty more thinking the same. It's, what's the temperature at the moment? According to the METAR, it is minus 8 degrees Celsius and a dew point of minus 16, which is absolutely Baltic. As always, some of the screenshots today will go onto Volanta. David's having the same issue. Sim can't seem to remember graphics settings for him. That's really frustrating as well, having to reset that all the time. What's that? 560, 84, 600, 620. Almost overran then, looking at the overhead panel. FB, that's interesting to know. I'm going to try that for next time, definitely. Thanks for pointing that out. So we're on Echo 3 now. I mean, look at that, even the immersion. There's traffic lights outside. My rudders just stay always connected, so that's a bit strange. Chris, good morning in California, very early for you, welcome. Midway traffic, Osprey 165 lining up, runway 31 centre. It's going to be a Cicero 2 departure. Try and get on this centre line a little bit more aggressively, shall we? Straighten up. God, look at the lights. I wanted to make sure the APU's door's closed. It is. And thrust reversers left and right need to go on. And manual crossflow override, continuous ignition. Everything else is set. Oh, actually, KASE is checked as well. And we need to make sure probe heating's on. It is. So, final bit. Oh, look at that, the in the background over there, skyline. Showing about those polygons here. Right, final. Toga. Click. That's active. FD's alive. Off the brakes. Park brakes off, sorry, and on the foot pedals. Toga. So that's thrust set. Are they up? Yeah, they're up. $80 knots. Chubham, hello! Come on, girl. End of the runway coming up. B1.
Okay.
Rotate.
I'll see if I can try and find up on the way 31 center.
Wow, I only just made that. Look at that. Barely. And I better get back in the flight deck because I feel like we're still pitching up, which I don't want. That was annoying.
Don't think.
It's almost like we're struggling through the icing here. But it's all good. Left turn. Still manually flying this. We want nav mode, speed mode, autopilot engage. I think we're going to have to clear the vectors. And to be fair, now we can probably go to nav mode. A little bit of a messy departure for us there. Let's increase our speed. Doesn't help when frames suffer a little bit because you end up feeling like you're chasing the aircraft a little bit. Right, what else? Manual crossflow, continuous ignition. And all the rest can stay on. We climb out. That was a close one. Shubham, yeah, were really heavy. And also, I think the additional... Oh, look at the skyline. The additional texturing off in the distance of the snow, I think has made the ground friction really strong, perhaps. That Drzewiecki Design Chicago is remarkable. Look how nice that is. And there's Midway. Oh, the lights are so bright. It's insane. I think we're going to level off at 6,000. Let's head up. I thought I'd retracted the flaps. But yeah, that's why we're heading on alt mode. Now the sim's locked up again. Make sure that is in the climb gate. Looking forward to getting my new Turtle Beach yoke system. Let's go right up to, what are we doing, 30... what's it going to be, 36,000 feet. It's the thing with the CRJ, you've got to respect it. Otherwise it can very quickly come at you and offer you one problem after the next. Love this livery. Josh, yeah, we're on the VATSIM network. Should be over 10,000. We're just going through that now, so let's proceed up to about 300 knots. Left nose, right, taxi, wing. They're on auto. We can go to standard, standard, and we can hide the V-speeds. I could have potentially used max thrust for that instead of a derated takeoff. That is Chicago O'Hare. Oh yeah, detents are pretty much required in aircraft like this. Brandon, I don't tend to usually get Balanta autosave freezing too much recently, but it could well be that. I might turn it off. Josh, can I use AIG traffic controller with VATSIM models simultaneously? I wouldn't advise it, no, because you're going to have VATSIM traffic confused with traffic injector, so use one or the other. Final bits, thrust reversers left and right, disarms, everything else is on. It's 1080p, Chris. Check your own YouTube settings for the stream. Have a little look, because I find that on mine it there's like a data saver mode now, and it kills my videos basically that I watch on YouTube myself. So I have to go back into it and click highest quality, and then it will render in 1080p. Mark likes his TCA throttle, good for the price. I've not tried it myself, but I've heard very good things, except for the fact it can be really fiddly to set up. Jeff was asking, is this default weather? Yes, it is, indeed. Tace is waiting on his Honeycomb Charlie rudder pedals, wow. Chris is doing short hop from Paris to Paderborn, really nice. Dr. Ward's loving the lamp. Barry, I fly this with the Airbus Thrustmaster and it's not ideal. Yeah, I guess that's probably one of the reasons why I avoided the Thrustmaster TCA kit, is because it's very specific to Airbus. Same with the detents as well. You've got to really work hard on every other aircraft you've got to try and match everything up calibration wise with the Airbus detents. And some aircraft just aren't designed like that. So it can be quite difficult. I've just got a really cheap Thrustmaster T-Flight HOTAS X full flight kit, as a lot of you guys already know. And I find that that's really easy for me to calibrate throttles across different aircraft. So for this, the calibration works really nicely. I can jump into the A32NX and I've got no issues with that one either, which is really nice. Interestingly, the Turtle Beach Velocity 1 full flight kit that they're sending me over the next week, that is customizable depending on all the different aircraft you want to fly, so I'm really interested to see what that is going to work like. And I'll be showing you guys some of the sort of throttle calibration settings and things that I'll be using with that once I get it and sort of give it a bit of a go. And as always, I'll share my thoughts and opinion with that as well. Yeah, you can take the detents out, but then it's kind of, if you're buying an Airbus TCA throttle kit, you shouldn't really need to. I've seen some people printing out some 3D models as well, like 3D detents or something, which improve the way the detents work potentially. I've got no idea how to begin with, where to even start with that though. This is going to be the first time flying the CRJ into Aspen, and we're going for the CRJ900, so the slightly longer version, which yeah, just to make things a bit more difficult for us, of course. You know what I also need to check here in the flight deck? for any more discontinuities, yeah, there aren't any. Good stuff. That's what we like to see. And we've got a really strong crosswind at the moment. About 70 knots across the sides. 121 knots from 324 degrees. That's quite strong. I could probably take wing icing off now as well. And put windshield heating back onto low instead of high. I think that's everything for now. If you enjoyed the stream today, guys, make sure you smash the like button down below as well, and come and say hi in the live chat if you've not done so already. And if you're new to the channel, please do hit that big shiny red button down below as well and become a subscriber. Chris has got a very foggy shoulder goal at the moment as well in his sim. I love it when the actual weather in the sim gets quite nasty. It's always quite good, isn't it? Barry says that he thinks he's going to buy a cheap second throttle and use that. Josh, we've got about 2 hours, I think, until we get on the ground. You should have an ETA at the top of your screens. That'll tell you exactly when we're due to arrive around the airfield itself. Shubham, yeah, the aircraft is crabbing through the air like in real life as well. You tend not to feel it or notice it because of sort of the inertia and all that sort of stuff, but if you draw, I don't know, I'll show you the rear actually, it's probably a good way to demonstrate this as we're climbing up. If you draw a straight line through the centre of your screen, once I've lined up with the tail, that'll show you our actual track in comparison to the heading. So that, there's a glitch in the matrix up ahead as well. So dead centre of the screen is our track, and our heading is where the nose is pointing. So that's the difference between track and heading. In fact, I'd probably go as far as to say that is our track. So we are crabbed about 40 degrees into wind at the moment through the crosswind. It's quite significant. Quite cool, right? That's definitely Volanta. Weird. Didn't do it the other day. Let's go into Volanta and see what's going on. Set to save every 10 minutes apparently. Oh well, all good. Check what's going on in the front. That's what it looks like on a top-down display as well. In fact, it's increased somewhat. So there, that little wedge is our heading versus track. Shubham, yeah, it does induce a bit more drag, yeah. You probably find fuel flow goes up somewhat as well for pilots flying like that. It's requiring more energy to maintain a track, fight the wind almost, if you like. Goodman, hello to you, welcome. Yeah, good, thanks. Good to see you using the correct keyboard today if you're working and watching as well at the same time. I love that, getting a response for your boss in a meeting inside our live chat during the live streams. It's always good. Sounds a bit breezy, Steve. Yeah, I think it's the overworked FT Sim Plus sounds for the CRJ. They're not the Aerosoft CRJ default sounds that Aerosoft have created are actually a lot better in my opinion. So I would not recommend FT Sim Plus's sounds for the CRJ. They're a bit over the top. In fact, they're quite over the top. So this is the air passing over the windshield apparently, and it's super loud. There you go, there's a great write-up from Philip. To be technically correct, the aircraft isn't actually crabbing through the air itself, but crabbing across the ground. There's a great way to write it. Put it. Half-bank mode's on now, and we've just automatically converted to Mach instead of airspeeds, so in knots. And our climb performance seems to have died off a little bit there, so we're just going to keep an eye. Thought the window was open. 80. Right, let's have a look about the Meta at Aspen, shall we? There we go, look at that for a view, fantastic. So, Meta at KASE, winds are 190 at 6 knots, so we've got a crosswind for the arrival on runway 15, I think it is. 10 square miles clear, minus 16 degrees, and a dew point of minus 18, wow. Altimeter 3064. Altimeter. Now I want to try and get some of that wonderful ground down there, look at that, into a screenshot. Yeah, we'll be passing that in a minute, so we might as well come across and up. It's great with the snow down below. It's interesting when you go from flying the Airbus like we did yesterday, and then you jump back into the CRJ and you've not flown it for a little while, you do feel like you're chasing the aeroplane a little bit. So you've got to work really hard with the CRJ to think quite far ahead. Otherwise, it can quite simply just run away from you and give you quite a few problems. That river meandering across down below. It's almost like the EastEnders thing around the Thames. Not that I watched that show. Can't stand soaps. I feel like our horizon has shifted a little bit. Let's have a little check here. It has. Brilliant. Look at that remarkable landscape down there. Where are we at the moment? I'll have to find out. So quickly go on Valanta. So we are passing a place called Morrison at the moment. So that's Prophetstown down there that we were just enjoying the views of. Stirling and Prophetstown. Comanche is going to be coming up as well. Mount Carroll off on the left hand side. The Mississippi River, in fact, is coming up. We're going to be crossing that in a second. So if we jump to this view, here's the Mississippi River. Look at that. On the cockpit, that looks wonderful. We go into here. There we go. Look at that. All iced up. Leo, no, I'm not too interested in X-Plane 11, to be honest. I know it's coming soon to the sim. Let's climb back at Mach 0.80, shall we, so we can actually try and get up to cruise. There's the northern aspects of the Mississippi River. First time zipping along this part of the States as well, I think. It's quite nice of seeing this for the first time in the sim. Off it goes, winding off into the distance. Look at that for a wintry landscape. Three more screenshots for Valanta then. Taste, have I tried the F-35 from Just Flight? Is that the one by India Fox Tech by any chance? I haven't tried it, no. Although, keep your eye out because I will be trying the Top Max Studios F-22 Raptor for the sim coming soon, so that's going to be quite cool. They've developed a freeware one on flightsim.to, but they're also now going to potentially, or very soon, be releasing a payware version for that. Well, that's so nice. People say the sim can't be realistic, but look how good that looks from below, from above. Little airfield down there, look. That is going to be Davenport Municipal. And the city of Davenport, in fact, is what we can see there off the edge of the wing. That's going to be Valanta state saving again. I don't understand why it's become unreliable again. The thing with F-35s and all that sort of stuff inside the sim, part of me doesn't really understand it, because surely you'd use DCS. Chris Peoples, do we have Discord? Yes. If you scroll up, look for the Nightbot every now and again puts the Discord link in. And in fact, further up, above Ashley and Steve's comments, there's the Discord link there for you. Yeah, I mean, it kind of, for me, things like F-35s and all that sort of thing, unless you can do proper carrier ops and you can use the munitions and fire chafe out the back and flares, that sort of thing. I kind of struggle to see the point inside Microsoft Flight Simulator beyond just mucking around with it. And then would I want to pay lots of money for it? I'm not sure. That's probably why India Foxtrot Echo, whatever they're called, India Fox Echo Tech, didn't want to send me their F-35. It looks very good, I have to say. It does look very, very good, but would I use it too much? I'm not sure. The beauty with the Just Flight Hawk T1 is the fact that it's a trainer aircraft, so you can go and blast around in it and do the Mach loop, and there's a bit more of a use to that inside this Microsoft Flight Simulator, I suppose. Zeka, hello to you. The aircraft took a bit of learning, to be honest with you. It did take a bit of learning. You've got to think a lot further ahead. It's not like the Airbus where you just put it in the climb gate and you just go autopilot on. You can't do that in this because it will catch you out. Although, interestingly, we've lost our climb performance here. We weren't that heavy. We're not that heavy. Maybe I'll put icing back on. But I won't use cowl icing because if you do that, it kills climb performance. Because it actually reduces even more engine power. What have we got? Some of our custom views. Oh, I am liking that one at the moment. The scenery down below is remarkable with this. AVS Gaming, good afternoon. Right, let's look at some of the charts into Aspen then. So, still got a way to go. Look at that. But as you can see on the left hand side of the Navigraph screen, there are no star charts for Aspen. There is an overview. So it's looking in towards runway 15 down the river. And that's what it looks like from above. In fact, you can see the train tracks going past the airport and the rivers. So lots of ski areas around here. We're going to be travelling in from just north of Swatch Range, I think. So quite a few peaks there. Look, 11,741 feet. That one there particularly is a problem for us, as could be 13,000 peaks further here, but I think we're going to be slightly north of those. Overview weather. So it talks about it's located just west of the Continental Divide in the Rocky Mountains of central Colorado. Airport is near the south end of the narrow Roaring Fork Valley, surrounded by steep mountainous terrain. To the southwest, several peaks within the Elk Mountains rise above 14,000 feet mean sea level within 10 to 12 nautical miles of the airfield. To the east, the Swatch Range, these are going to affect us. The Swatch Range also rises above 14,000 feet MSL within 18 nautical miles. Several ski slopes to the south and southwest are clearly visible. Caution, wind shear and moderate turbulence may be encountered when there are strong westerly winds at mountain top level, especially during winter. So we're in winter at the moment, and the winds are 19 at 6, so they're southerly at the moment. Numerous unlighted obstructions are in the vicinity. The surrounding terrain will not allow for normal traffic patterns, and high rates of descent may be required for landing. Cat D circling to land not authorised, and hang gliders, paragliders, hot air balloons and glider operations exist in the vicinity of the airport up to 18,000 feet MSL. Weather-wise, December to February, precipitation amount 1.7 inches or 43 mil, snowfall 24.5 inches, 62 centimetres. Wow, that is deep. IMC at 13% of the year for that particular part of the season. Prevailing winds southerly 5 knots, so winds are generally northern throughout the afternoon hours, shifting south into the evening hours. Overall, the winds prevail from the southern quadrants, which is what we've got on the METAR, and low temperatures -13, highs of 2 degrees, and the METAR currently it's below average. It's actually -16 degrees at the moment. Runway 15 is going to look like that on approach potentially. There are no straight-in instrument approaches to this runway. Visual vertical guidance provided by PAPIs at 3.5 degrees on the left side of the runway. The PAPI is unusable beyond 4 nautical miles, so that basically means if we are looking at the PAPIs beyond 4 miles from the approach end of the runway, or beyond 7 degrees right of the runway centreline, they will be unusable, i.e. they're going to potentially, most likely, give us a false reading. Takeoff from the runway requires written permission from the airport manager. We're not bothered about that. It's got a displaced threshold, resulting in a usable landing length of 7,000 feet. Runway 15. We're probably going to use most of this today. I'll probably anticipate coming off Alpha 6, or if it's icy, Alpha 7 or 8. The cold temperature altitude correction note with its associated temperature depicted on affected approach charts indicates a cold temperature altitude correction is required at this airport when the reported temperature is at or below the published restricted temperature below. Advise ATC when altitude correction is made in the intermediate or missed approach segments. Reporting correction to ATC in the final segment is not required. So, what are we here? Minus 16, isn't it? So 25, 35, 45, 55, 65, 75, 85, 95. Okay, that's actually quite easy because minus 10 shows 200 feet above airport in height is temperature correction of plus 20. So 220 feet. Or am I reading that right? No, sorry. It is 20 feet. So in that instance, we're basically going to take the zeros off because and add 5. So if our height above airport in feet is 300 at minus 15 or so degrees Celsius, it's going to be, we're not going to zero off, add the 5, it's going to be 35. Well, actually that starts to jump, so it's going to be 40. 400 will be 50. 600 will be 60. So yeah, we add 5 initially, then we add 10. And then the jumps become even more advanced through that table there. So I might pin that one. I don't think we need to use it today though, to be honest. We're not going to be using QFE. We're using QNH. Roaring Fork visual, runway 15 is what we're going to try and achieve today. So our routing does in fact take us to DBL VOR, which is red table there. And if we zoom in here, you can see that actually, world map, doesn't really give us terrain, but you can see we are coming in from the north east over Denver in fact, and Aurora, across towards the north of Aspen. So if we go back to this routing, red table, we can add these in, approaches. Okay, so it's going to be roaring visual, so that doesn't help us anyway. Brilliant. So we're going to fly to red table, recommended 12,500 feet there. What we need to be really careful of is to the right hand side, which is going to directly affect us. A lot of these peaks up here are 13,400, 13,600 feet, 13,900 feet, which is the Mount of Holy Cross, 14,000 feet, all that sort of stuff. So we might have to hold our altitude at say 16,000, get over the peaks and then descend down 12,500 by red table. And then it's all just dashed lines, so it's going to be autopilot, most likely turned off, and then we're going to make our way into the airport on this Roaring Fork visual approach. If we were coming in from the south, it's even more difficult because we've got to fly into the valley near the ridge and then swing around for the final approach, which can be quite tricky. Yeah, that's basically what it's going to look like. What is the aircraft category for the CRJ900? So at the bottom, the weather minimums, 6,000 feet for this particular approach. That's all that we need to worry about. It's a conditional ceiling and 600 feet, 6,000 feet. Simbrief thinks the CRJ900 is a Category D aircraft, but a lot of the time it falls into the weight categories of Category D. William, hello to you. Wow, been a member for 12 months. Awesome. Thanks for all of your ongoing support. We're still hampered by climb here. Let's drop down. Ashley's keeping an eye on it for us there. Thank you. Catching up on the live chat now. Now it's reverted back to Mach. We'll do Mach decimal 78. Just veteran, just starting on VATS. I'm using your tutorials thanks to you. I have some nice model matching. Problem is I don't know how to add custom liveries like yours or Flight Deck to Sims Alpaca. So the Alpaca ones you can't, because they don't exist inside Microsoft Flight Simulator, I don't believe, at the moment. So unless they've started to trickle in now, I'm not sure. But with mine, all you've got to do is download the VMR for them and the relevant liveries via our Google Drive, which you can find inside Discord, the little liveries channel thing. There's a little dedicated VMR file which you can also add to model matching as an extra file. So you'd have two VMRs. Let's say, for example, AIG plus the BVX liveries VMR, which is just purely all of our channel liveries. Steve's asking, has the CRJ got skis for landing? I think we might need it. It's an Asobo airport, isn't it? So I would imagine they've not bothered to put sort of snow effect removal on the runway. Who knows? We'll find out when we get there. I'm sure it'll be a mess. Don't worry. Right, well you can go into here and go runway 15. Let's see what we've got here. We've got a couple of lock options, so I'm going to have a little look there. We've got altitude, noise as well. Lock dear me. Or the RNAV dear me from Red Table. So I'm actually going to tune the RNAV GPS final approach in, and it's also got an advised MDA for this one for a circle to land of 10,960 feet. I'm going to use this one as a guidance, so when we do turn the autopilot off and we fly the visual approach, if suddenly we can't see the runway, we've got that tuned in. So we've got a bit of a nav line for us to assist. Makes it a bit easier. What is it going to be? It's going to be RNAV 15. Now interestingly, I've only got 3 options here. Yeah, I've got multiple options inside the actual MCDU. We'll just click RNAV 15F via DBL, that'll do. We only need it as a guide. Once we hit DBL, we are flying our own flight without any autopilot. David McCoy, welcome on board. Thanks for subscribing. Just Jace, I think it is the sort of place you'd dust the Twin Otter off at, and it'd be quite good fun, I think, I would imagine. Let's bring our speed down a little bit now. Let's come out the climb gate. And that should do us quite nicely, I think. We'll just see what happens with the speed. I brought the N1 down to about 88%. That'll do, I think. I'll just leave it at that. Lots of tiny airports around the Rockies as well. You've got Jackson Hole, I think, from memory as well. You've got Aspen. You could do flights across to Denver in it as well, so you could have the big engine stuff too. Right, let's see. Back decimal 8.1. It's a nice speed. And the drone camera's doing its thing. Little airport down there on the left of the screen. And what looks like a bit of an interstate as well. And it is covered in snow down below. I think it's the first time we've seen it properly inside the sim. At least recently. All this snow rendered in. It's nice to see live weather working really nicely anyway. Denver is miles away. We'll be passing that later. I'll try and capture that as we fly over. Chris, that would be nice, wouldn't it? So I know the freeware C17 for Microsoft Flight Simulator has got some custom jet blast averts, like a sandy approach, or like on desert ground. Backpack, hello to you, and 3 arrivals into Aspen. Beku, good stuff. Who did I miss earlier on as well? Let's have a quick scroll up. RK in India, hello to you, good afternoon. Good evening, in fact, for you. That's interesting. Feels like my custom views have shifted ever so slightly. We like these views. Actually, did we decide on our route today? For next weekend? Des Moines down below, Omaha as well coming up. Oh, look at that. Very cool. I'm trying to find our conversation the other day now. Where is it? So basically we were looking at our stream schedule for next weekend. Potentially I'm going to be able to stream on either Saturday or Sunday. I think it's going to be the Saturday, to be honest. And that was on the 6th, so that's not the case. It's well after that. Can't find it, who knows. But basically we've got the brand new... In fact, it's not brand new, is it? The Scenic Routes Ljubljana scenery for Microsoft Flight Simulator. And the developer for that, Scenic Routes, has been really generous actually. They've contacted us and offered me a 50% promo code for all of you guys basically. So if you want to get your hands on their beautiful scenery, then from next week we're going to be dropping the promo code so you get 50% off their scenery price, and we'll be flying to London Gatwick, EasyJet flights in real life. That's going to be quite cool. A 787-10 into Aspen, brilliant, of course. That we need to see. Jeff, yeah, these are all default clouds and MSFS live weather. It looks wonderful, doesn't it, right? And then down there as well, all clear skies. But it seems like there's the end of the Earth. That's really bizarre. Let's have a look on Volanta. There can't be a massive lake there, surely. No. Gali. Right. Max, hello to you, welcome. That is really weird, look. Unless, in fact, no, that's less icy ground, I think. Yeah, I mean, look at that. If we bring out a little cockpit view. Great, right? It does look wonderful, Sim. Sobo have done a remarkable job of making this look fantastic. Oh, the weather into Glasgow and stuff. That was brilliant yesterday, wasn't it? Sim UK did a fantastic job with the big Heathrow event that we took part in yesterday. That was really enjoyable. Ashley in the live chat actually, inside the lounge, we were chatting away after, and they sent some screenshots. They sent some screenshots to us inside the lounge, which showed, I think there was an aircraft holding it as far back as Brussels, which is quite remarkable. Flying into the event from Frankfurt, so they'd only just got airborne and they were already being asked to hold over Brussels before we vectored in, and there were aircraft stacking up all the way on the Logan arrivals. So we were really lucky yesterday. People were holding as far into sort of 11 o'clock at night, and we got a bit of a weird vector where we ended up getting a left turn 360 to help descend, but actually we were fine. We were straight in effectively. Alberto, it's funny you say that actually. I did have a terrible night's sleep yesterday. Does it come across? MPS Gaming, I did the flight as an observer on VATSIM yesterday. Anyway, it has to be a little too stressful for my sweet English. You would have been absolutely fine, I'm sure. The controllers are great. They don't expect everybody to be fantastic. In fact, we had quite a few people in the event yesterday that we could hear on the frequencies that weren't English native speakers that were doing a brilliant job, so never let that put you off. I mean, in real life, you hear pilots flying into Heathrow on the ATC frequencies on Heathrow Tower, and they can only just about speak the required English for flying. So yeah, definitely don't let it put you off on VATSIM. Noob Gaming, welcome aboard. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. Ashley, ultra wide is the bee's knees. Don't think I could go back to standard widescreen for PC either now. So I've got a bit of a curved wide monitor, but no, not an ultra wide screen. That would be quite cool. Max, just scroll back to the takeoff. Yeah, that was pretty close, wasn't it? Wouldn't like it to be any closer, I don't think. We've still got a juicy crosswind. It's tailed off a bit. Strength of it's dropped down. And everything else is looking pretty good. Oh, actually, you're going to get Gridderman ticked off now. I think Gridderman's just got into City Skylines, thanks to, I think Doctor on Board was recommending that to him. He's got him hooked just now. Didn't know you were into that as well. That happens in real life as well, MPS gaming. Sometimes the controllers do have to repeat things. Sometimes, because of thick accents, ATC controllers have to ask, basically again, for clarification from the pilots. So the pilots will understand it and read it back, but because they're thick accents, the controller isn't sure if they've said what they wanted, so they ask again, basically. So yeah, definitely never let your sweet English put you off. Dr. Board, no. I have not tried City Skylines myself. You guys have all been talking about it though the last few days in Discord. I think, you know what, I'm sure I must have tried it in the past. Or at least a mobile version of it. Can't remember. You're not going to get me into it though. You keep trying to persuade me with Euro Truck Simulator as well, don't you? Centurio's got a 35-inch ultra-wide, wow. Makes my setup seem so amateur in comparison. I'm cramped onto this little IKEA desk with two smallish screens by comparison there. Maybe it's SimCity that I've tried years ago. Right now, the transition away from the icy sort of snowy landscape down below. Now we're transitioning away from that. But the sim hasn't drawn a line to just go, yeah, there's no snow now. It's sort of slowly rendering the snow away. Like off in the distance there's still bits of specks down below as well. Interesting. I mean, it's still showing it like a cut-off, but that's not too bad. He'll let loose. Never heard of that one. I used to like, what was it called years ago? One of those Tycoon games. I used to play Airline Tycoon, but what was the one where you actually... Transport Tycoon, I think it is, or something like that. And you had to create shipping, airline company, all that sort of stuff, and make loads of money. A Hell Let Loose. Never heard of that. Euro Truck Sim is great in VR. You know what, I think if you've got the steering wheels and everything mounted exactly as it looks inside your VR headset, I would imagine that is quite spectacular. I'm saying, I wonder what the overlap between flight sim and sim racing is. Saying it's, I imagine it's quite a lot. You're probably right. You are probably right. I mean, I've tried Euro Truck Simulator, the original one, years and years and years ago. Many years ago, in fact. See that? It's like the weather's just thinking about adding more snow in, potentially. Well, we'll look away from that bit for a minute, give the sim a bit of a chance. Keep smashing the like button, guys, if you are enjoying the stream today. Hopefully you are. It's going to get difficult in what, a couple of hours. What's our time to go? Apparently 1 hour 15. ETA of 1542Z. Wow. We've managed to bring the speed down a little bit. I mean, you guys would have to really tempt me with trying Euro Truck Simulator, but I try. My gaming PC has literally just got a few bits for Microsoft Office and Google Chrome, and then everything else is just flight sim related. So I would be worried about bogging the SSD down with a load of other stuff. Flight sim, Chris, hello. Are you using a yoke or a flight stick, and do you configure to the different aircraft flown? That's a great question. I've got a Thrustmaster T-Flight HOTAS X full flight kit, including the rudder pedals. I've got a different profile for the CRJ compared to the A320. Also because of the keybinds surrounding reverse thrust and that sort of thing. But I think the keybinds for reverse have changed recently because they don't work in the A320 profile anymore. So I pretty much just use the CRJ profile. That said, I mentioned a little earlier on in the stream and yesterday, I've got a Turtle Beach Velocity 1 flight kit being sent to me courtesy of Turtle Beach themselves, which I'm hoping to enjoy soon and bring you guys a bit of an unboxing and a review video to show you what I think of it. But also, that's going to become my new setup. So the trusty, cheap Thrustmaster T-Flight HOTAS yoke and throttle is going to be retired. Really looking forward to that though. The Velocity 1 looks fantastic, so I mean I was potentially just going to buy that anyway. KASE ordered the Fanatec DD Pro when the pre-order opened. I've got no idea what that is. I assume it's a wheel. I wouldn't know where to start either with Euro Truck Sim and things. Chris is on descent to Paderborn, fantastic. Yeah, Steve, the Turtle Beach, yeah indeed. It's their first hardware for flight simulation, so I'm really excited to be trying it out. Alex, I love the Thrustmaster Boeing set, I really do, but the price, I can't justify it. For the price you pay for the Thrustmaster Boeing set, the entire set, you could get 3 or 4 flying lessons for that in the UK, and you would very nearly be at solo standard for that price. So when you weigh the two up, I think I'd rather go flying. I don't know. I know people spend crazy money on simulator hardware, I know that. And there are people that have purchased the Airbus TCA pack and the Boeing TCA pack. Who knows? I don't know, are you one of those people? If you're in the live chat and you've bought both, then give us a little wave. We're going to be in awe. You've gone full whack serious with, if you've got a yoke for an Airbus and a yoke for a stick for an Airbus and then a kit specific to Boeing, and maybe even the CRJ, that's fantastic. I think all-rounder at the moment, some of the best you can buy is obviously Honeycomb, and that's cheaper than the Thrustmaster options at the moment for the Boeing systems, but the Boeing one is metal predominantly, from what I understand. MPS Gaming, see, I've got the Thrustmaster T-Flight HOTAS X, which is its own little stick, and I know it doesn't have the same buttons as the Airbus, and it's not shaped like the Airbus side stick, but I actually really quite like it. For £120 for a stick, throttle, and a rudder pedal pack, that is really good value. That is good. And even if when I swap it out for the Turtle Beach Velocity 1 flight, that's hopefully going to be delivered in the next 2 weeks, once that's swapped out, I am still going to keep hold of this Thrustmaster setup, I think. It might come in useful in the future, who knows. It's worked wonderfully for me as well over the last year and a half of Flight Simulator with MSFS. It has worked really nicely. Steve, mine says the same thing, how weird. Windows 11's apparently not compatible with my brand new gaming PC either, all because of the RTX 2070 Super graphics card, which is a really good graphics card, so I don't understand it. Reese, yeah, and you know what, that's where it's worth throwing it in, isn't it? Because if you can't pass your FAA medical for whatever reason to fly for real, then flight simulation is the next best thing, so splash out and really enjoy it. You want as much immersion as you can in that instance, so that's a great reason to spend money on good hardware. Ashley's only got the TCA side stick, quadrant and Thrustmaster pedals, but considering getting a Honeycomb Bravo for non-Airbus throttle control. Yeah, I struggle. I think if you were looking at getting a new throttle and yoke setup, and you were considering the Thrustmaster Boeing systems, you would definitely need to consider seriously choosing between either the Honeycomb stuff or this new Turtle Beach Velocity. I mean, I'm in the market for a new yoke stick throttle system anyway, and I was seriously considering purchasing the Turtle Beach one regardless. I think it's about £350, and you get the yoke and the throttles and an interchangeable panel system as well, which is quite cool with a load of buttons on it. So yeah, I've got to say I'm really looking forward to it. The bar is quite low with my system, so review-wise it's going to be, I guess, in comparison to the Thrustmaster T-Flight HOTAS X kit that I've already got. But I'm also going to try and come across it of, you know, connecting it and using it for the first time. So that's how the review is basically going to go, I think. But I'm going to include the feel and the use of different aircraft like this. I mean, the yoke doesn't look too far off that, to be totally honest with you. A blend between that and a Boeing yoke, which is perfect for what I want. Steve's got the Logitech yoke and quadrant with panel control on the gaming PC currently. That's another one actually that I've obviously neglected. Reese, no, I think you've done better with the honeycomb yoke, to be honest. Just Jace, hopefully it will be delivered in the next 2 weeks, and I'll try and get an unboxing review or like a first look done as a bit of a review first. Who knows? I'll try my best. And as Chris is saying there, apparently there's no current way to set reverse thrust with the Turtle Beach one. I'll have a little look at that. That's obviously such a key feature, isn't it, for airliners. Oh, I can spot a discontinuity there. Let's see. We've got a double there. Delete and delete exec. $13.7 apparently. But actually we want to be around 12.5. Matthew, not a fan of the Bills. I was watching the Browns game yesterday, and I was quite surprised they won, to be honest. But I know there was some interesting results across the league, weren't there, yesterday, going into like the wild card round and all that sort of stuff, going in towards the Super Bowl now in just over a month, actually, isn't it? 13th of February. Ridderman, I can hear you talking in the background, and to fix the Windows 11 compatibility for our graphics cards, you need to turn on a setting in the BIOS. Ooh. Is it worth upgrading to Windows 11? Ah, Matthew, you a 49ers fan? Reese saying the Browns need to get rid of Baker Mayfield. He's about to undergo a load of shoulder surgery, isn't he, from what I understand? And you're a Browns fan as well, so I bet you were well chuffed with the result yesterday. I think the Browns are kind of my second team. I'm a big Patriots fan, have been for quite a few years, but I mean, whilst I quite like watching Brady down in Tampa Bay, though, I have to say, I do quite enjoy watching the Bucks sometimes. My second team is probably the Browns. I liked, before Baker Mayfield, I liked their underdog nature. Chris is a Giants fan, so he says, I'm not in this conversation. Love it. I've got colleagues at work who are avid Rams fans and all that, so yeah, we do have great discussions sometimes, wind each other up quite a bit. Reese hopes so. He started off really well, didn't he, when he was first drafted by the Browns. I'd been watching the Browns for a couple of years prior to that as a bit of a secondary fan anyway, but when Baker Mayfield rocked up as a rookie, first year drafted, I felt like there was quite a bit of hope. I was quite impressed with the way he played. So obviously this shoulder injury must have been going on for quite a few months. Like a bit of Russell Wilson of the Seahawks, myself as well. Could have been from the fridge period, so I'm out anyway. Matthew is a Cowboys fan. Aren't the Cowboys the most hated NFL team in the States? I always see memes involving the Cowboys just getting rinsed. And yeah, David A. is a Chargers fan, so we can work out his mood as well. Awesome stuff. Only football for me is soccer. The doctor on boards. Yeah, see, I can't stand soccer or football as it is in the UK. I can't stand it. I've never got into it. I tried. I couldn't stand the way players just dived and fell and pretended like a little flick has broken their leg. and they're in immense agony. I couldn't stand that, so I ended up getting into rugby, preferring rugby, a bit more of a contact, a bit more of a proper sport. They get paid a lot less as well than football players. And then I discovered NFL. Chris, yeah, the windmills, solar farms, and the wind farms, sorry, do spin as well. Chris, Giants never look good. My best mate is a Jets fan, and they're never great either. It's always great when we smash the Jets. I send plenty of messages to my best mate. The other day the Chargers called a timeout, which for the life of me I can't figure it out. Yeah, you know what? I was watching Browns Bengals yesterday, and the Bengals made the similar sort of decision, but they didn't choose what was it? Ollie summed that up perfectly. So the Bengals yesterday, I think they had the option of a field goal, and they chose to go. I think they were 4th and 1. They were 4th and 1, I think, from memory. And the Bengals chose, instead of closing the gap to another 3-point gain and taking the kick, they decided to try and convert to a first down / get the touchdown, which they ended up not getting, I think, from memory, yesterday during the game, and they ended up losing the game. And it was close throughout, really. Browns sort of led initially to begin with, but I love a bit of rugby, Mark. But yeah, love a bit of NFL as well, to be honest. Matthew, I'd agree with you there. Baker Mayfield's the best QB the Browns have ever had in 20 plus years. Not saying that's saying it all that much, yeah. The standard is quite low, or the bar was set quite low, weren't they? Happy Phillips, a Chiefs fan, wow. Glory hunting with Patrick Mahomes, Philip, or have you been a long-standing Chiefs fan? Drunk drone cam. Let's reset that. It's beyond me how that turns all the time. Literally don't understand why. Halfway now. On our little route, Chicago Midway to Aspen, Colorado. In our Osprey Regional CRJ900. You can download this, if you didn't already know, you can download this through our Discord server, along with all of our other channel liveries as well as a BMR file, so you can model match them as well once you've got them installed on VATSIM. Everyday Chargers' third down defence is basically non-existent. So frustrating, can't make a stop when it counts. And you know what, defence ends up winning the game. Look how good the Patriots were a couple of years ago when our offence was really struggling, and our defence pretty much got us through to the Super Bowl. I think, was it Brady's last year? We weren't playing that great on offence. The defence is what saved it for us. Just really bright clear sky now that we've got down below us, apparently. And Valanta must be doing another quick save because they're locked up for a second there. Do a sit rep on speeds and things. So Mach 81's holding quite nicely actually at 89% N1, or 88.9% N1. We've got loads of fuel left. Should be flying near to Denver. Yeah, you know what? We're about to pass sort of Lexington, Nebraska, Grand Island at the moment. Give it about 5-10 minutes, we'll have Denver off the nose, sort of over here somewhere. I'm going to assume maybe in 10 minutes time. Can't quite see it on here yet. Whoops. Fat fingers. That river down there looks brilliant. Chris is on finals. Wow, so many NFL fans here. I think franchise does 100% work in the UK. Yeah, NFL's massive in the UK, and it's starting to go. Well, years ago there was NFL Europe, wasn't there? And that obviously fizzled out, but they retained quite a strong following in the UK in small numbers, but now it's massively growing. NFL's hugely popular for a lot of people in the UK actually. Every team as well is pretty much covered with fans. The Jaguars more so. They've ended up purchasing a stadium in the UK, the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. The owner of the Jaguars owns that now. Those of you wondering what we're on about. But NFL in Germany is starting to come back as well, so there's quite a bit of a fan base in Germany too, which I know the NFL are trying to tap into. Reese, no worries. Catch you later. Amsterdam Crusaders, Gridderman. God, that is going back. You're an NFL Europe fan. David saw William Perry play at Tottenham back in NFL Europe. We've had a couple of is it Christian Wade, I think, from memory, and one other. We have basically we had two rugby players in the UK. They ended up getting a deal to work in the NFL. David might even have a Monarchs jersey somewhere. Wow, that is going. I love this. We're going back now into NFL Europe times. I never even knew it existed back then, though, to be honest. I only got into it in the last sort of about 5 or 6 years, actually, I've got into NFL. Weirdly enough, Madden was my turning point on Xbox. I started to learn all the different drills and plays on offense and defense, and learning the rules has then sort of got me in, it's pulled me into it and hooked me in. Isma, thanks for subscribing as well. It was 25 minutes ago. I can't remember if I said thank you or not. Welcome on board to you. I'm sure I did at the time, just in case. See, the only time I stay up, David, for NFL is Super Bowl night. That's the only sort of time, really. It's a bit of a shame. The only ones I watch are the sort of 1 PM kickoffs in the States at Eastern time, because that's about 6 o'clock UK time. But again, 7 PM during the summer when the clocks go forward. As Matthew is saying there, that's the only time I can watch, really. Otherwise I've got to stay up till sort of 3 or 5 in the morning. That said, when I am at work and it's Monday Night Football, or it's Sunday night and there's some games going on until about 5 in the morning in the UK, Channel 5, they've recently got rights, I think, haven't they, for Monday Night Football. So if it's Monday night and I'm on a night shift, I can watch NFL basically. Stick it on the screen at work. Smarty Pants, are you using the cellular connection or something the plane provides? Yeah, in-flight Wi-Fi here at Osprey Regional. It's free of charge. Philip's a long-time Chiefs fan, used to deal with a software company from KASE, came over here to do an installation and the guys got me into it. Also, that's fantastic. You should have gone over there as well. Has anyone from the UK in the chat gone over to the States to watch an NFL game? I would love to do that. I've not even been able to go and see the London games that the NFL do every year. Every time I check, prices for the basic tickets are like 250 quid, which I just can't justify. Aaron's asking, how easy is it to fly the CRJ900? So once you get your head around everything and you're thinking well in advance, so you're anticipating stuff 5-10 minutes in advance of it, then actually it's really nice to fly. The keys are remembering that you are in control of the throttle at all times. And then everything else sort of comes naturally. I've created a couple of tutorials just sort of covering the basics of how to fly from A to B with an ILS approach. There's 3 episodes going from, I think, Birmingham to Rotterdam, I believe, if I remember rightly. And that's in the CRJ900, but the same principles apply to this. It's just a bit longer, a bit heavier, so your takeoff and approach is a couple of knots faster. But do check that out if you're thinking of purchasing the Aerosoft CRJs for MSFS. Tasis, a baseball fan, wow. Kieran, what do you think of the hotfix? I didn't know there was a hotfix. I thought it was just a minor sim update. David Bartley went to San Diego, one of my favourite places in the States, that is. When I had to do a work trip to LA a few years ago, Jack Murphy Stadium was really old. Wow. Favourite place in the States, that is, by a long stretch. Second is then Boston. I'd have probably been a Chargers fan if they hadn't have moved to LA. David's seen the Chargers twice at Wembley. That's pretty cool. Matthew would love to do the opposite, come over and watch a few EPL and lower league games, get some non-league in. Something we don't have with football is real grassroots level sport. It's schools and pros, yeah. So the college football is just huge, isn't it? It's as big as the NFL itself. Have I missed a hotfix? Christopher, good afternoon to you, welcome. Oh, the minor sim update is the hotfix, but less stress on the hot since it took them about 2 months to push it out. Yeah, I thought it was just a generic sim update. I wouldn't describe it as a hotfix. They've tickled an update out, haven't they, basically, over 2 or 3 months. Isn't there a new update, big update due in February? I think so. Is it the one that was delayed, wasn't it? The Australia World Update. I think that's been delayed into February, I believe. Or the end of January. I think I read something in the dev update saying that it's potentially been delayed. Got some snow on the ground coming into the distance as well, and I would assume over there is Denver. That big old snowy patch. I think I've still got the Flightbeam Studios Denver scenery installed as well. So that'd be interesting to see it from 36,000 feet. Who do people have it in the Super Bowl now then? David's asking. Great question. I'm going to say the Chiefs. And... ooh. I'm going to say Chiefs and Bucks. Chiefs and Buccaneers. Or, I'd actually also be tempted to say Chiefs and Rams. Titans are 12 for 5 as well though actually, so they're pretty strong. Although they did use, they did lose. Did they lose yesterday? Or did they just scrape a win? They might have just scraped a win. God, it's a tight year this year, isn't it? I'm just looking at the all the tables now for the AFC and the NFCs. It could even go down to Rams Bucks. What are the games coming up? Wild card rounds. Let's see. So we've got Bengals Raiders. I'd like to think the Raiders will probably scrape a win there. Bills Patriots. I'd like to think we're going to win that. The Patriots. Bucks Eagles. Buccaneers are going to win that easy. Cowboys 49ers. 49ers will win that, I'd like to think. Chiefs and Steelers. Now the Chiefs probably win that, but it could be tight. And the Rams Cardinals. Rams will win that, I think. Buttons on 28-25, nice. Yeah, they were up 21-0, and then they blew their lead away, didn't they? Yeah, NFC is really tight to call, Matthew. I can't really make my mind up actually. Smarty Bants, it can be as real as you want it to be. David sinking Bills Tampa. Ooh. Yeah, this year usually. You know what? Usually I can call it, and I can give a prediction, and I won't be too far off. But I think for the Super Bowl this year, I think we're going to struggle. Well, Big Ben as well, hasn't he said that it's going to be his last year, David? Oh, Chris, that is a long one. Wow. Christopher Johnson was asking earlier, sorry, I was just trying to scroll up there. If I wanted to start using flight sims, what would be the best place to start? What system would you recommend as a good starter PC? So, check out my specs. I'm trying to remember the command now. In the live chat. If Nightbot puts it in quick enough. If I've got it right. There we go. So that's my system in the live chat by Nightbot. So you could base your system upon that if you wish. And actually, it's not a bad system. it's a mid-range PC, very reasonably priced. It's certainly working really well for me. It just depends whether or not you'd want a more modern graphics card and a slightly better CPU as well, I suppose. But I think I'd start there, work out how much that would cost you, and then if you could, upgrade the CPU and the graphics card slightly to maybe a 3000 series GeForce RTX graphics chip or something like that. That'd probably be my recommendations for PC wise. In order to answer your other question about what would be the best place to start, Christopher, you would want to get yourself a nice little yoke and throttle system, even something really cheap, basic, mid-range or budget yoke and throttle like mine, Thrustmaster T-Flight HOTAS X, plus the rudder pedal pack, the full flight kit it's called. That's about £160 now because of the price is going crazy, but it is a massive amount cheaper than everything else. And then it depends what you want to get out of your own simulator, to be honest. Whether you want general aviation flying and some light aircraft, or if you want to go to the airliners. A nice stepping stone would be to do a little bit of flying in the small aeroplanes, get used to those, and then try and move on towards maybe the A320 using the fly-by-wire mod, because the A320 ultimately is you click it, you turn it on the autopilot once you put the flight plan in, and it will fly you to your destination. There's very little input required from a pilot. Basically, it's very lazy in comparison to this. You can work your way through the complexities of the aircraft, so you can start off really easy with severe automation in an Airbus, and then you can work into something like this, the Aerosoft CRJ. So there's plenty to get into with flight simulation. It depends what you want to go into, Christopher. It's a great question though, thanks for asking. Hopefully I've helped answer it a little bit. David, yeah, I'd agree as well. As Matthew said, it is really up in the air this year, so it's difficult to predict who's going to reach the Super Bowl. Matthew T, hello, hope you're okay. Good morning to you over in the States, near LaGuardia. Aaron, don't know if it's because I have too many mods, so I'm getting average 40 to 50 on a 5600X 38 TTI. All I want from my flight sim is 30 frames per second, or 35 frames per second. And beyond that, I'm happy. Brilliant. There goes Volanta again, stake saving. It's not annoying at all. That snow's starting to render down below us again, look. Cold north. We're making our way now towards Aspen. Denver actually will be going past as well in a short while, so we'll be keeping an eye out for that. Yeah, anything over 35 frames per second I don't really need, so I've locked my graphics card at 35, so it can rest my GPU for anything above that. Don't need the 35. I don't need sort of like 60 frames per second or anything like that. At least with what I want. What a one-armed push to discharge. You don't want to knock that by accident, do you? Keep smashing the like button down below, guys, as well, if you are enjoying it. If you've not clicked like already, hopefully we can try and get to 100 likes before we get to Aspen. What I might do is set minimums shortly as well. Weather minimums of 6,000. Airport elevation is 7,838 feet. But a ceiling of 6,000 is 6,000 feet above. It's not altitude, it's height above the ground for that. So try not to get that confused with airport elevation and things like that as well. So actually, I'm going to suggest the minimums should be around 12,000. I know the RNAV approach has got minimums of 10,960, and you can see there brackets, height from the ground, 3,122 feet above ground. I might set 11,000. Just, yeah, we'd do that, 11,000, why not? We might as well start to prep some of these. Oh Jesus, it's going to be a while. Hold shift, someone pointed that out to me. That's super helpful, because now I can scroll through to 11,000 feet MDA. Set that as appropriate. It'll take a while. Got to do airport elevation next as well, good grief. Halfway there. There we go. And what else? Airport elevation, landing elevation 620, but I need to bring that up to 7838, 7840. So that's going to take a while as well. It goes up, this one here goes up in increments of 20. Three, 3540. Shift seems to help that one as well. 4,700. Jeez, we'll keep scrolling. Seven 140. 660. Seven 840 hopefully. There we go. Lovely job. Ah, Matthew, good stuff, thank you. It's good to know. So we've done minimums, we've done landing elevation in the overhead panel. Missed approach is going to be interesting because there isn't a missed approach procedure. So with our charts here, it's a visual approach, so you can see it just ends at the runway, and then there's no missed approach. So if we do have to go around, there's a lot of terrain here. All this red is pretty much stuff we can crash into. If we look at the RNAV, missed approach with a sharp climbing right turn to 14,000 direct links and on track 247 to Gleno and hold. And that's by then. So if we're not going to see it by then, we've got to turn right, get out of the valley basically before we hit into all of this terrain around the ski slopes, Lock DME. It's a similar one actually as well. You bail out earlier for the missed approach there. Yeah, interesting. We've got some departures from Aspen. Look, Aspen 7, runway 33. That's runway 33 as well. Oh right, so they're all runway 33. Can you not depart runway 15 from Aspen? Wow, David. Bears, Vikings, Dolphins fired their head coaches today, it seems. I know the Bears were, they had that coming for a little while, didn't they? Didn't know the Vikings and the Dolphins were looking at getting rid of theirs. Chris, nice. Are you studying from home today then? There's KDen just there on our nav display through all the rest of it, but where FQF is, just slightly north of that, is Denver. So we'll be keeping a lookout for that. I think it's going to be in all that snow, or near to all the snow anyway. We've actually got mountains being rendered into the distance as well, so that's pretty much where we're going into. Landing deep in the mountains at Aspen. Ooh, just Jace. Indie Builds announcements forum. We have no release dates at the moment, but you can expect a large update to the A310 Microsoft Flight Simulator project this month. How exciting. I think they're going to be a very long way away from any form of release, but it's nice to see that they're working on it. I can see on Valanta, Osprey 5665 and American 610. They're flying an entirely different route to us. Anita, welcome on board. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. Hope you're well. Let's have a look at the METAR again. So winds are now 180 at 3. Minus 17 degrees Celsius is the temperature at the moment at Aspen, and the dew point minus 21 degrees. Wow. Altimeter 3063. Let's have a look here. That's just going to reset itself, isn't it? So I'll have to just remember to do that a little later on. That's really high pressure. University, Chris, yes. It says cold temperature altitude correction required at or below minus 22 degrees Celsius. So we're minus 17 at the moment, so apparently we don't need to do any altitude corrections. We're going to pass Mount of the Holy Cross first. Then we're going to be into Red Table via 1130. So we'll leave these on auto. Eventually they should tune to the correct ones as we get a bit closer. $80 miles to Denver, about 100 miles to top of descent now. Kieran, when will we see the PMDG 737? Hopefully middle to the end of February, I'd like to think. I know they were hoping to get it out before December, but then obviously some of the sim updates came and just threw a spanner in the works for them. It looks fantastic though, right? The forum posts that they've shared recently looks brilliant. I don't know how to fly a 737, but I'm sure as heck going to try and learn as quickly as possible. I'm really looking forward to it as well. The depth and the level of detail included is going to be insane. Snow Peak Mountains off in the distance actually, coming up. Hopefully we get lots of snow into Aspen. Makes it a bit more difficult trying to spot features on the ground as well, so it does make it a bit more challenging for us. Christopher, there we go, it's like I sensed it coming. A little reminder for our approach, by the way, it's going to be that, so we're going to aim for 12,500 feet at Red Table VOR, which is up here. We're actually going to be approaching from the top right hand side of the charts near Mount Holy Cross, across all this really high terrain. We've got to be careful of. And we might need to do a bit more of a steeper descent down to Red Table before we commit to this final approach here. And it's going to be autopilot off and it's going to be manually flown. We've got, from the Red Table VOR, an outbound track of 163 degrees directly to the threshold at Aspen as a bit of a reference point to assist us as well. So we could tune that and fly to the VOR and keep to the right of it, like a bit of an arc. And there's a bit of a peak there, 10,516, that we've got to avoid. So we're going to be passing the terrain quite close at this section of the descent, and it gives you no guidance whatsoever. Because it's a visual approach, it's all down to us to look out the window and work it out for ourselves. Our depth perception, our rate of descent, the lot. It's going to be interesting. Now there is a river going through here. It says Roaring Fork River. There's basically it heads down along that bit, but it says Carbondale. That line there is pretty much the direction of the river actually. So we're going to work to try and look towards that and use it as a bit of a reference point to assist us lining up with the runway as well. Initially for this first section, until we pass this middle bit of terrain here, we won't see the runway, most likely. Landing wise, runway 15, 8,006 feet long, but usable length was 6,000, I think I read somewhere else. So it's going to be brakes and reverse thrust, and we'll probably vacate Alpha 6 or Alpha 7, but it all depends on what happens when we get there, because if it's in a Sobo airport, it could well be covered in snow, and it could then be quite slippery. So who knows, we might crash. Hope not. But consider yourselves briefed. We're looking out for Denver down below somewhere as well in the distance, so we've still got a bit of a way to go. Now there's all the data for Aspen coming into view as well. That headwinds, the crosswinds dropped off a little bit, but it's a 30 knot crosswind completely across the side of the aircraft at the moment. Yeah, 40 miles to Denver, so we can't really see it at the moment, but in fact, there's Denver Airport, I think. That big old blob there is Denver Airport, and I think then that's Denver City here. We've got the Flightbeam Studios Denver Airport installed still as well, so that'll be interesting to see what that looks like from above. Matthew, for your information, only the 700 is allowed in there, so enjoy the ride. Ah, oh, brilliant. You know what, I wish it was things like that were pointed out to me in advance, because I could have done an aircraft swap to a 700. God, what have I done? Biggest thing I've managed to get into Aspen so far is the CJ4, and I'd only flown it once, and that is a year ago. On stream actually with John Mason, flying along, one of our channel members. He was flying along behind us, and he crashed. He crashed in the river, he stalled. So, and again in this we don't have a throttle, an auto throttle, sorry. So we're going to have to manage our speed really carefully on this manually flown descent. Matthew, have you ever flown into Aspen yourself in the CRJs? Oh, look at that, Denver's starting to render in really nicely now. Look at the size of it. Makes it much more exciting, David. Matthew makes a great point. It's a flight sim, so part of the fun is being able to do stuff that wouldn't ever be allowed in real life. It's nice to see we've got all the snow on the Rockies as well. There's Denver. Why does the drone cam keep tilting? Let's see, try and position this for a good picture. Ah, it is a real world route. Doctor on board. Interesting, I didn't know that. I was trying to search for the route a little while ago, and I couldn't find any flights into Aspen. It just popped up actually nearby. It was at Jackson Hole as a route that was nearby. Also in the Rockies as well, I think, from what I understand. You mean the lack of missed approach situation? Now here's a question for you, Matthew. So if I was flying into Innsbruck in the A320, I would turn the APU on so that that can control the packs, so I get more engine power. Would you do that in the CRJ for an approach like this? Here, and I've flown into Denver myself as well in real life quite a few times actually. It's a depressing city, I have to say, but the airport's just huge. It's like 30 minutes of taxiing. Here it comes actually. Oh wow, look at that. Please don't crash to desktop. Oh, it's just rendering everything in, look down below. Lucifer. Oh, look at the size of the airport, it's insane. Let's see. See, the Rockies and stuff are too far away, so I probably have to get a picture like this. That's a wonderful bit of scenery, by the way. Flightbeam Studios, Denver Airport for Microsoft Flight Simulator. And there's the mountains, about 40 miles to top of descent now. And then from the window views, oh look at that, that perfectly timed it for us. Now that looks really cool. Dusty FS, hello. Welcome on board. Looks remarkable from a sort of a wing view or a cabin view camera. Matthew, you can. So I've never had to use bleeds closed for an approach, but I have 100% used bleeds closed APU on for takeoffs. What do you reckon? I'm trying to think if it would be worth using it. Oh, Christopher, I'm trying to. Denver itself, down there. And the drone camera's tilted again. Why does it do that? I put a couple of screenshots onto Volanta, tracking our progress along the way. There's Denver City. In fact, there's the CBD down below. Used to stay down there. There's a cheesecake factory down there, and every time we went to Denver and the girls wanted to go to the cheesecake factory as crew, they would all get food poisoning at that one. Fun fact. Not that I'm trying to put you off the cheesecake factory if you ever go to the US. Alright, final check of the METAR then. Peace. 180 at 3, 10 statute miles, clear skies, minus 17 degrees Celsius, minus 21 for dew point, altimeter 3063. God, look at this. So 3063 barometric pressure. By comparison with our altitude, we're at 36,000 feet at the moment. Actually, it's 38,320. So if you'd have stayed on standard pressure as we descend through today, you would end up 2,000 something feet too high on your profile. That's something to bear in mind. Oh, Ian, fantastic. I'm glad you enjoyed yesterday's Glasgow hop and back. A great event, wasn't it? Have a good night. Right, let's have a little look here. DBL 1130. I'm actually going to manually tune this now. And I want 1130 DME hold. Just make sure that is locked on 1130 DBL. 79 miles then to Red Table Mountain VOR, or Red Table VOR. Make use of the DME hold function, I think, for this. And we're going into the mountains. Top descent in about 10, so let's get this ready. Want 12,300, but I know there's a lot of terrain first to navigate past. So actually I'm going to set 15,000 to begin with and just see how we go. I'll bring that throttle down a little bit as well. And I'll do 1800 foot per minute, I think, first, just see how we go. Hoping we get a bit of a banana. There's our VNAV path, and actually it's suggesting that we need to bring our rate of descent further down. So we'll do 2,200 feet per minute. The snowflake's coming up towards that centre point. Let's convert that back to speed. Okay, there's our banana. Down we go. Probably a bit more of that. And I'm going to, I will forget later, so I'm going to turn these on for now, and I'm going to put windshield heating onto high as well. Prevention is better than the cure. A little bit down on the throttle, so that's now decelerating us a little bit. Lovely stuff. Down we go into Aspen then. The Roaring Fork visual approach, runway 15. Oh, I've only ever done it once. It's nice, that sounds like a good little route that you've got yourself there then. Let's bring that in. Bring our throttle down a bit more. Speed management is probably what's going to either help us or kill us today in this stream. Ooh, shall I get this on flight recorder, folks? What do you think? I reckon that could be quite cool. Oh, Valanta, why'd you do this to me? We don't want that on final approach, that's for sure. Matthew, NetJets is not a 135 but rather something completely different called a 91K due to it being fractional ownership. Basically, if you buy a membership, really a tiny fraction of every plane, that way you now own each plane you fly on, and it no longer requires Part 135 as it's not technically a charter. Jesus. That sounds a bit... sounds like a creative company structure, shall we say. 2500. I'm going to set speed to 50, I think, and just allow the aeroplane to start to slow down when we get a bit closer, because actually we've got 34 miles to go. Still doing 290 knots towards. Aspen traffic Osprey 165 is descending through flight level 230 inbound for the Roaring Fork visual runway 15 approach. Will report passing red table. Aspen traffic. Right, what was it? 1037 QNH or 3063. .3063 set. Dodge is the word, yeah. Yeah, Kweku, you've got a Boeing 787-10 behind you. That we have to watch. Look at this, it's wonderful. What the hell just happened there? I think we found a glitch in the matrix. Let's do that. 8.3, usually 3.6. Aspen, somewhere in there. Check our speeds. Probably want to let that come down a bit more now. I'm going to set 14,000. Right, I'll set 13,000. I'll just see how we go. Speed spur. Let's see. 137. $142. We're through transition now as well. I'm going to put the landing lights on now as well, and the wing inspection light. That's all on as well already. Cow licing, I'll turn that off. Yeah, hit the nitros button. Okay, this is going to get really busy now. So let's get rid of the music. Sure, I personally don't do long flights, if I'm honest. Actually, I've never pressed that button before though, so I was quite surprised. Let's do 800 foot per minute for the next section, I think. I've got 10 miles to go and I can see that terrain there that I want to get past, so actually, let's level off here. Uh, 15,000. So 15,000 was a good shout. Ah, Matthew, thank you. I didn't think it was able to, but I thought I'd ask, because I know there is a button for VNAV. I actually want my speed down more now, because we are pretty much in the final approach element. Aspen is through here somewhere. In fact, is that Aspen? I don't know. Performance, let's just set the VREF. And I'm going to idle the throttle now. looks like we're turning. Let's get rid of the autopilot now. I actually want to overfly the VOR. Where's my charts? There we go. I'm going to turn the flight director off as well because that's going to get very distracting. And we're flying visually now. What I don't want is a missed approach. So, speed brake. .30 degrees. Oh, I can see the runway. Lovely. Aspen traffic, Osprey 165 is finals roaring visual runway 15 approach. There's the peak here that we wanted to miss. Just there. And it's reading the terrain below us now. So we've got gear down. There's the terrain warning. Now we're going to go full flaps, so just about. I thought I'd got away with the overspeed then. I needed the drag. Here we go for a bit of a steeper descent. What are we at? 150. So I'm 8 above. That's getting back on profile quite nice. Going round would be nigh on impossible, I think. 140 is coming up, so I'm going to start adding in a bit of power. And I'm going to bring the nose up slightly. Yeah, reverses our arms, good, because we're going to need them. Oh, Volanta, really? Oh, Jesus. There we go. Down locked, 3 green and full flaps. Okay, it's looking okay, actually. Let's work on the approach now. I'd say that's about 3 degrees. So I'm going to trim for this. I think I can see 4 red on the pappies, but to be honest with you, I think this actually looks like a good visual approach as it is, so I'm not going to change anything. Bit of power, kill that rate of descent. Good old Asobo, left the runway covered in snow. And some light braking with reverse green. Now the tails, the nose wheel's down. There's a bit of a float, has to be said. I'm trying not to brake hard because it is covered in snow. So as predicted, I think we're going to be able to exit at Alpha 6 here. Oh, come on. Isn't that stupid control lock thing where if you look and you're braking, it locks the brakes on? Sober need to fix that. Aspen traffic Osprey 165 has vacated runway 15, taxi to gates. Waited for a little longer than I wanted to, if I'm honest, knowing that it was short enough runway as it is. There's a random Aeroflot. We'll head over towards the stands. We are, Aspen. David, thanks. The only thing I'm not happy about is the fact that my speed control wasn't great during that approach, it has to be said. A couple of overspeed warnings. I think I was very conscious I had to get that speed down as quickly as I could. So I was thinking, oh, have I passed the terminal? Let's park next to this dude's house. I've left all the strobes on, by the way, because it's the flight recorder app. It doesn't remember the states. Becky, you might not make it. I'm sure you'll be fine. I'll wait till the APU's on and then I'll stop the flight recorder mod recording. So do ignore the lights and things for now, it's just purely there so that we've got lights on for the approach we're about to do. Who's next? Have we got somebody about to commit in? Yes, in fact Kweku's in a CRJ900 as well. Love it. And I think I've just seen like a Cessna 152 on Volanta. I don't know if they're on VATSIM or not. Don't think they are. Can't see them. But they're around somewhere. Anyway, we've parked at the FBO anyway, so that's all good. I was going to park up here. While we wait for Kweku, I'll quickly go on to Volanta. And I'll end the flight. And I'll show you guys my touchdown rating. Kweku, are you landing on 1.5 or 3.3? Ninth person to arrive there today. Wow, still a popular airport then. There's our route. And there's our touchdown. Apparently it's a positive 169 foot per minute, which is a bit interesting. 0.99 G. There we are, we've intercepted the sort of state highway and targeted the river. DBL's here, pretty much where Sugarloaf is, and there's the Red Table Mountain. The VOR's just where this curved line is here. That actually doesn't look too bad for a manually flown descent. Bearing in mind this is what the approach looked like from Red Table. MPS Gaming, this is standard Asobo. Stop the flight recorder for a minute. It's standard Asobo a freeware, sorry. That van is definitely asserting dominance on the runway. He's not going to move, is he? Coco looks to be next. Let's have a look on here. In a Cessna 152. You know what? He's being joined. It's a strike. It's the Aspen Airport Workers Union. They heard some CRJ900s are flying in. They're not having it. They're all coming out. Oh, that's madness. Look at that. He's going on now as well. Where's the Cessna? Breku is over here somewhere. The Cessna apparently, Coco is up here, the other side of this peak. So, is he still alive? Can't see him. Breku is...
Traffic, Osprey 565, final approach for runway 15, final landing.
Ooh, there's a little plane. Where's the 787-10? I think that must be Weku on final approach here. I don't see any other nav lights. And it looks big enough for a CRJ. Now the last time we did this view was many months ago, and John was flying along in a CJ4 behind us. We were all set up with the camera ready, and all we saw was just his aeroplane drop into the valley below.
Okay, GG. Sorry, Osprey 565, landing runway 15.
It's all going off in his cockpit. Here we go. Better not scratch the paintwork on his Osprey CRJ. There's the threshold, bottom left of your screen. Matthew, wow, 787's 15-ish miles to the north on a straight in. Now that's going to be interesting to watch, isn't it? I mean, we used most of the runway with full reverse and some brakes. Oh. Did he stall? I mean, he made it in. I think that was Vatsim just being a bit funky.
Break, okay, 565, vacating runway 15.
Nice.
We made it.
You did. Nice one. Oh yes, I can see now. American 610 coming in from Eagle County. Q is frustrating, isn't it? It's a standard Asobo handmade airport type thing. I think it's not ideal. Drzewiecki Designs, the Midway scenery we departed from, had all the snow ploughed off. That said, look at those visual effects. At least there's something. Oh, here's the 787. Look at that for timing. I just no idea how this is going to get in. 4 more likes to 100, guys. Smash that thumbs up. Boeing 787-10 about to land on this tiny snowy runway now. Looks high. Is he going to commit? Fourths, yeah, it is very high. Maybe he's going to practice an assault landing. With the clacker going off to get into the valley, that's how. Yeah. To be fair, I think I triggered the overspeed twice as well. Oh well, look, he's hit the descent now. I think he's going for it. I mean, it just shows you. Oh look, they're out. The Rozzers, they're not having it. 787 coming into Aspen. Absolutely no chance. Look at that. Dive, dive, dive. Flying it like a submarine commander. How is he getting that? I mean, it looks to be on profile now. Has to be said. But that must be full speed break. 100 likes. Cheers, guys. I think he might have recovered this. I mean, now he looks low. Oh, he looks very low. Oh. I feel like we need to pause and go get a gin and tonic for this. Now he's below radar now. I guess you've got to get low to bleed the speed off, and then you come in shallow. I'm coming up with excuses for him. Look at this. He's done it. Or at least he's. Oh. Oh. There we go. That was the actual touchdown. If Kweku holds position, I'm just going to go into a replay mode. Wow, he's done it. Christ. That's a good effort. Taste, well done, that man. That's it. That's a proper hold my beer moment. Okay, so I reckon a replay from this view, and then a replay on this view. Replay, let's go. Oh dear, don't crash the desktop on me.
Sync rate 1000.
I'm going to close Volanta.
Sync rate.
The only thing it's not going to do is flaps. So bear in mind, with the flight recorder mod, it probably will lose the ability to add flaps, which I've just kind of tried to manually do. There we go. So all of the warnings and everything are going to be weird. We're going to get pull up and all sorts, more so than we did on the actual way in. Jamster, it's the flight recorder mod, and it's available on flightsim.to.
Sync rate.
Freeware. Although, I enabled the... Is it in here? Yeah, look, replay. I've enabled that. Hey, look, it's Coco Lada. Hey, Coco.
Traffic. Traffic. 1000.
ASA. I've not been able to try it myself, actually. I obviously forgot about it this time round as well. Bets, glad you enjoyed it. Thanks for joining us. I've enabled it in the menu in dev mode, but I just haven't worked out how to use it yet. I keep forgetting, because I've got flight recorder, I keep forgetting to use the actual Asobo one. Do remind me next week. I'll make sure I try and use it. What a view for the passengers. There's the perimeter fence.
50, 40, 30,
There's the threshold.
10.
That's touchdown. So, as we taxi off here now, I'm going to allow the replay to sort of just continue rolling, and we will try and spot Coco, who's on final approach runway 15 now as well. There he is, in his little Cessna. I think it's the British Avgeek Cessna Grand Caravan livery, potentially. Little Osprey Regional C208. To be fair, I think just in general, it hates light recorder stuff anyway. I think it just hates replay modes, because I get loads of crash to desktops at the moment using any form of replay. Like if I replayed this another 2 times, I'd get a crash to desktop. Coco's down. That was a great touchdown. KASE and night landing here would be interesting. I don't even know if it's allowed in reality or not. Are we taxiing back? I'll try and get a screenshot of all of us parked up. Where's Coco? There he is. I'm not sure if they are in or not. Let's have a little look. We've got Volantis still open. I want to see if he's outbound or not, so I don't trigger a replay again and get in his way, basically. It's a CJ4, isn't he? So where is he going? Oh, okay, it's to Dan. Oh, it's Peter. That wonderful scenery. I'll wait till he's in the middle of the two with his pink interior. There we go. It's a strange issue that Sobo have got there with that. Right, we want to see a replay, final replay of us on the way in, right? We'll see how long we floated for. I feel like I was holding it just off the runway for a couple of seconds too long. Nevertheless, let's go. Stop replay. Replay. There we are, top right of the screen. Just about to see the lights off in the distance over there. Next Saturday we've got Ljubljana to London Gatwick on Microsoft Flight Simulator. We're going to be on the VATSIM network, EasyJet flight in real life as well, so we're going to replicate that real route. We're going to start from the beautiful
Great flight, always very helpful.
Shubham, thank you very much for your tip. Really generous of you, thank you. Great flight, always very helpful, glad to hear. Glad you've enjoyed the stream today. Thanks for your generosity as well, supporting the stream there with a Streamlabs tip. Very nice of you. Saturday we're going to be going to London Gatwick from Ljubljana with the Scenic Routes Ljubljana scenery for Microsoft Flight Simulator. And they've given us a 50% off promo code for everybody to use who watches live. Everybody can use it. You punch it into Sim Market and it will give you 50% off the price for that piece of scenery. And it's a remarkably nice bit of scenery as well, so really looking forward to next Saturday. 1 o'clock UK time as always as well. And looking forward to doing some CRJ Adria ops out of that same airport over the next sort of couple of months as well. Here comes our approach, the replay of the replay. Our final approach into Aspen. Roaring visual runway 15 approach if you guys want to try this yourselves in your own sims. Don't forget, while you're here, if you've not done so already, do hit the subscribe button down below, big red shiny button, and give the live stream today a thumbs up before you head off as well. There's the threshold. There's the touchdown markers. And floats. Flare. Float. Here we go, 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 here we go. Still floating, still going, still going, still going, still going. Touchdown. There we are. Thank you to everybody who flew along today. I hope you've enjoyed it as well. Kweku, Kokolada in the Cessna, and I think it was Fets in the Dreamliner. Hope you all have a great rest of the week as well. Be sure to keep an eye out for next Saturday's live stream. It's going to be really cool. Kieran dropping a tip as well. Thank you very much. Your super chat, €5. Really generous of you as well. Thanks for supporting the stream too. Much appreciated, guys. Welcome to all of our new subscribers today. Thank you as well earlier on to Wesley for dropping a super chat, and also David A earlier on dropping a generous tip as well at the beginning of today's live stream as we departed the new Drzewiecki Design Chicago Midway for Microsoft Flight Simulator as well. So if you didn't catch the start, then do check that out too. We've checked out brand new scenery for MSFS Chicago Midway. Perfect for 737 ops when PMDG release that in the near future. That's all from me today though. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys Saturday for Ljubljana to London Gatwick EasyJet Ops with that promo code as well, half price for that scenery. Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for all of you guys for dropping tips, and I'll see you on the weekend. As always, thank you very much for watching and take care.
Bye bye.
Cheers.